It's been a long week, right? Are you ready to wind down? Why not? It's time for the Wine Time Fridays podcast with Shelley and Phil. Neither are sommeliers, but both have a deep passion for life, each other, and of course, delicious wine. And now, here to talk about this week over a glass of wine is Shelley and Phil. It's wine time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again. Hello and welcome to another episode of Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil on this Friday. April. We're in April.
I can't believe it.
April 1st came and went, and no one died.
No one that we know died.
Well, that's a good point. No one got hurt through April Fool's Day this year.
Not in this house, anyway.
Episode 207. Happy Friday, Shelley. It's wine time. We have a new wine bell.
It doesn't want to ring very well.
I'm still getting used to it. It says ring for wine. We are so happy to have a little spin off an old former chapter. Yeah, that's a great way of putting that. Back on episode 115, nearly 100 episodes ago, we had Andrew Allison of Cuvée Collective, which they're still technically Cuvée Collective, but I think there was a shift in the NFT market and this and that, and the embracing of partners in Napa. So a little pivot, I don't know, 20 months has come and gone, and now they've got the Cuvée app. We have got both Cameron Roblee, which we affectionately call Cam Bam, and Andrew Allison, Drew Dillinger on Twitter, ex-Twitter. Welcome to Wine Time Fridays again.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Hey, nice to see everybody. Happy Friday. I just got to open my wine.
Yes, Andrew is going against the grain. Three of us will have the same wines. And Andrew's gonna, again, he feels like he can do this because he's the CEO and founder of Cuvée. I want to ask you guys right off the bat, while I'm opening this first wine, anything new with the Cuvée story these days?
God,
where should we begin?
Is that a loaded question?
There is so much that's new. Cam, where have we come? What roads have we walked? What highlights do you want to touch on?
How much time do you guys have? I know we had an hour and 15 booked, but holy moly.
That's what Andrew has. We've got good until 6 or 7.
Well, we've come a long way. Man, the last time we talked to you guys, we were doing unique collections with some awesome brands in Napa for really highly curated experiences that were available on our website. And now we have built out this beautiful, wonderful app that hosts tons of different experiences, highlights our partners, helps people explore wineries in Napa, and helps them reserve their tasting experiences and build their itineraries.
We'll continue with that thought in a moment because we just opened one of your partner wines, Massican. We love Massican. Mm-hmm. This is a 2021 Massican Ania, and I'm going to stick that right here. And we should do a proper Wine Time Fridays toast to health, wealth, and abundance, gratitude, romance,
and peace on earth.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You got pork in yours.
Yeah.
You guys might be drinking some of the very last Ania that was in our collection. I know Dan has continued to produce the Ania wine under the Massican label and is just about to move on to the next vintage.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is a really good wine.
We love Massican. We obtained some NFTs, Massican NFTs. I believe, actually, this is a great question for those who still hold a Massican NFT but have yet to get their wines. Would those wines still be available?
Yeah, so the wine offering will certainly change with the time that people choose to redeem their tasting and their wine allocation. Dan always puts together the best of what's available, so totally time dependent.
Oh.
Nice.
So that's pretty much true with all of your NFT holdings?
Yeah, I mean, each one is a little bit different. Not all of them have wine collections, but we're really focused on sending our customers to wineries to experience their existing products right now. So making sure that we deliver all of the sales from the former collections that we've sold, and then introducing our customers to brands in a new way now.
We've seen a vast majority of the folks that purchase the tasting NFTs actually redeem them and go to wineries. So there's not many left that are still in circulation. Without looking, I don't know what that number is, but yeah, I'd guess four-fifths of them have probably been redeemed.
Yeah, the Massican story, as I remember, is one that we really love. Going against the grain. I mean, Napa Valley, it's all about Cabernet and Chardonnay and, I guess some Merlot. But I mean, really, it's the big, heavy hitters. And here Dan Petrosky comes in and says, I want to make some white wines out of, what is it, Takai, Friulano, Ribola, Yala, and then we got to go with a little Chardonnay. But I mean,
for structure.
Yeah, but I mean, that's really interesting. And then, of course, he sold his winery. I don't know, was it a year ago or something?
Yeah, a little less than a year ago. Dan has a really beautiful philosophy about making wines that are accessible in price point, have really interesting varieties, and have like a really Italian-inspired heritage behind them. I love what he stands for. I love the price point of his wines, and I love that he brings in collaborating winemakers to work on so many cool projects with him. But Dan did recently sell his brand about 6 months ago, late summer, and is now working with the Gallo family to scale the Massican operations, to gain access to wonderful new fruit and vendors and supplies. And I mean, I don't want to take Dan's story away from him, but I think it's a really wonderful play to be able to build the Massican brand and help grow his organization.
And he's staying on with them too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At least for a time. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Still gonna be making the juice.
And
all right, Andrew, what's in your glass?
I'm more than happy to answer. I just want to share my 2 cents on Dan's story, just to give Dan a plug. I mean, Dan's story is so good. He got to the top of the winemaking game for so many big labels, and then rode the boat out as an entrepreneur. I love that story. He built his own business and then drove it all the way through an exit to an incredible operation where he gets to stay on and grow it beyond the original resources that he put together himself. Like, I think as an entrepreneur, I think that's hats off, and his ability to grind is just super impressive. He definitely, like all entrepreneurs, have some lucky breaks. And then at the other time, like, you know, many people don't see all the hard work. And I think a lot of that hard work is stuff that we appreciate because we try to only show the good stuff, but there's a lot of late nights or long days that nobody sees. And his story of, you know, building the business from zero to exiting the Gallo families is such a good story. So check out Massican if you haven't had a chance. It's a super approachable bottle of wine. And I think shout out Dan Petrosky. Love him, love his work. Now
only $32.
Yeah, it's only $32 for a wine of this caliber. It's sensational. It's fantastic. So easy to drink.
Yeah, exactly. And it's refreshing to have something coming out of California, you know, that's not another Chardonnay. You know,
thank you
to all the KJ folks. I think myself, what's in my glass? I'm so sorry I'm not drinking Massican. I am drinking an Ashes and Diamonds Blanc #7, also a 2021. Ashes and Diamonds, a killer, very trendy Napa winery, and I feel very lucky to have a bottle of this that was cold in the fridge. I just got back from being on the road, And so I did not get a chance to see Cameron or the team today in person. Otherwise, I would have had a bottle of Massican. But no, that's me. And this Ashes and Diamonds Blanc is it's delightful. It's crisp. It's clear. It's beautiful. I don't know the price point offhand, but it's 12.3% alcohol, and it's it's absolutely it's
12.4.
Shelley, I can always count on her to
Knowing the alcohol.
knowing the ABV on the wine, which is super important. And 12.3, 12.4, man, those
That's
are
nice.
yeah, those are just perfect. Just easy drinking. Have a glass or two and really not feel that go into your head, which is good.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys what sip, track, earn means to you?
There's so much that's gone on in the Cuvée ecosystem, and you're going right for the deep end. I love it. So Sip Track Earn is something that we've announced in our community for April. We have bigger visions, but we always build and iterate with our community in the open. And so for the month of April, Sip Track Earn is exactly that. Send in photos to the email address bottles@cuvée.app and send us pictures of whatever you're sipping on, whatever you're tasting on. And we'll score all the bottles with a matrix we've already set up. And then the idea is that all those points will be spendable in a rewards storefront. And so you can grab milestone-based rewards, and you're also going to be able to snag some limited edition rewards on a first come first serve basis. So in the middle of April, we'll open up the rewards storefront. So if you want to start spending some of your points, or if you want to start saving towards certain goals, you'll have an idea of what you can cash some of those points in for. Sip Track Earns our first initiative towards some cashback mechanics or loyalty mechanics that we've been thinking a lot about. And we really want to build and test Sip Track Earn with the community. So we think we'll have something like maybe 100, maybe a little bit more community members that are actually like really engaged in the game. And we'll see what the data says after April. But Sip Track Earn is really meant to be fun. It's meant to be responsibly, engaged with, and that's why we put some guardrails on it. No more than 2 labels a day per person or whatnot, and you definitely don't need to finish the bottle to submit it, etc. So I think there's definitely some adult responsibility-driven thoughts that we've put around the program, but it's really meant to be a fun, sampling of checking out what other people are up to and trying to stack rank it into just like an opportunity to hook up some folks with some great partners of ours that are contributing back on the reward side of things.
So I think all California wines that they should send in.
We're letting any wine and any wine anywhere participate, as long as it's not like moonshine or something that's never been commercialized. As long as it's like a credible bottle of wine that you could buy at a grocery store or whatever.
Well, darn. Shelley and I created our own blend at North Star in Walla Walla in January. They're laying down in the cellar right now.
They won't be done in April.
No, they won't.
It's a moot point.
I was going to ask about that, but it really is open to virtually any reasonably accessible wine.
Yep. And any price point, anywhere, anybody can partake.
And then are people supposed to say what they like or don't like about the wine, or are they just sending in pictures?
We really want to decouple this idea of everybody needing to review. I've always had a knee-jerk reaction to asking folks for reviews. I don't think the common consumer has the right vernacular. And I also don't think that the common consumer should feel excluded. And so we wanted to really focus on the tracking. Sending in the picture is more important to us than the review. But if you do leave a review, we'd love to hear what you thought about it. We're asking that you just make sure it's over 15 words. But if you don't feel like reviewing, no sweat. Like, you don't feel like you need to make it up, etc. And so I just want people to feel like they could participate if they don't want to. Like, we've always been reluctant to do anything pretentious, especially because like we see and interact in this space all the time, and like you could spot the pretentiousness from a mile away. We just want people to like come join us. Tell us what you're drinking. We don't care what it is. Track it. We'll hook it up with some points, and then you can participate no matter where you are on the leaderboard.
Cameron,
you're on.
I think when you think back to like the very early days of Discord, when we first opened up our community there were some really active, great channels where people in our community were contributing, and especially in like the wine chat channel, they were talking about the wines they were drinking on a daily or a weekly basis. And it was really fun to see what people were drinking. And I think as the dynamics of Discord have changed, and as the model of our business has grown and matured, we're trying to find a similar way to like understand what people love, think about what they're drinking, and then figure out, you know, how that builds a path to what comes next for us.
So I use Vivino pretty much exclusively. I track the wines in the cellar. If we pull a wine out, I'll make sure I take it out of the cellar, give it some stars. If I'm feeling really, you know, adventurous that night, I'll throw down some words. Not maybe even 15. Might say tastes great, less filling. You know, I think that tagline has already been used for some swill. But how will your app be similar to this? And it seems like a little different. I love the idea of rewards, you know, because you're getting information too that you can use as data points, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think the short answer is we don't know yet. And so we want to see how the community engages with it first. I think there's so much trail to be blazed in this mechanic. If we can identify what people are excited to claim in the rewards department, then we could better incentivize folks to engage. I think it's really about an engagement, what brings people together. Talking about wine, unless you're a true fanatic, it doesn't really move the needle for folks that are in the like common consumer, normie, casual drinker bucket. And it's hard for them to relate to, you know, somebody talking about like the medium plus acidity, blah, blah, blah. Right. Like, I think the idea, right. Like, I think the idea is to really make it like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I understand no matter if I'm drinking a $2 wine or a $200 wine, I get this reward just for sharing or tracking what I've had. And I think by doing that, we could bring people back together asynchronously with the ability to relate to the reward redemption mechanic.
We love rewards. Everyone loves rewards.
You know, I mean, it is absolutely true.
Double coupon days. And you won't know this, but like blue chip stamps.
Well,
you're probably like, what?
Well, I can't think of another industry that doesn't have a loyalty layer that's a little bit deeper. And when you think of credit cards, or when you think of you know, like this idea of cash back rewards or whatnot, there's so many other industries that have well-established brand agnostic rewards. And we've always been excited about the idea in our space. And so we think our position from a Cuvée standpoint is you won't find Cuvée making wine. That's not our business. We're not in that business. We partner with the best winemakers in the world. We'll let them do what they do. And so, like, if we can bring things to consumers that allow consumers to find those rewards with the best brands that we like, then I feel like it's a win-win, and we're all in a better off position for it.
Well, Shelley and I have both downloaded the Cuvée app. What's really brilliant and wonderful is that if you had an account with Cuvée Collective, you have it with the Cuvée app. And starting last Monday, I actually started putting in some pictures of labels of wines we drank, but no more than 2 a day. Because that would be wrong to drink 2 wines in a day.
Well, what if you had like half a glass of this one?
Yeah, so actually,
as we sometimes do when we taste 3 or 4 wines.
But I think Andrew pointed this out. You don't have to have the whole bottle, right? That would be hard to track anyway. But you do have to have had a glass of it, and that's what keeps people honest by more than 2 labels a day. So
yeah, and I think the idea is right. Like we don't know where the guardrails need to be, and so we don't want to be too heavy-handed on this idea. And so we don't want to say 1 because we know sometimes there's nights where you have to, but if we start to see 15, it's like, okay, either at a wine tasting event or it's like a super Sunday and you're like really getting after it, but there's not going to be, you know what I mean? Like there's not going to be too many instances unless you're a professional in the industry where you're sampling more than you. So we really want this to feel approachable for everybody. And so we didn't want runaway people on the leaderboard. That's why we only did it 4 weeks. Like we're going to learn so much over this process. Like we have every month of our business. And so we're just thinking like, hey, let's get this going. Let's get some rewards in hands of people and let's get some feedback. Sure. And I think that's how we're thinking about it.
Cameron, you and I had a conversation a week and a half ago, a couple of weeks ago, setting this all up. And I had asked what you're thinking of as the next movement forward. Are you going to venture in, because right now you're in Napa, so which direction are you going to go? What are you thinking? And what you said, I absolutely love. We don't know. We're going to let the community kind of help us with that. Can you expand on that? Because that is just so important. The listening aspect of a successful business is absolutely palpable. You know the word I'm trying to say. But
I do know the word you're trying to say.
Thank you.
The cornerstone of our business has always been connecting with our customers and understanding what's important to them. And when we spoke a couple weeks back before we planned this podcast, we were talking about what the future of Cuvée looks like. And, you know, for 2024, we are going to make sure that we get it right in Napa before we spread ourselves any further. We're going to make sure that the features of the app work. We're going to make sure that we're delivering value to the customers who are using Cuvée. And we're going to make sure that all of this is working.
Yeah.
But when we think about how Cuvée grows, we'll be listening to our customers again. We'll be understanding what they want next, where they want us to go. And we'll be doing it systematically with input from our customers. That's always going to be the key piece of what makes us different.
And maybe just to pile on to what Cam said, I think there's so many people that have built really, really successful businesses that we can look at. And I think so much is to our benefit that we could just better understand how some of the businesses that came before us in this day and age, it's almost as if entrepreneurs these days are playing with cheat codes because it's so well documented relative to prior generations. And when you look at businesses like Airbnb, they went to where their customers were. There's their early stories in New York. They launched the marketplace 3 times, didn't work or something like that. And the 4th time it did work because they went and they did customer interviews and they did all their own photography and they spent time teething on all the reasons it didn't work, and every no got them closer to the yes or the business model optimizations that would make it into a more successful business. Now Airbnb is one of the biggest marketplaces of all time across both people that rent apartments or spaces or rooms and people that travel. And so I think Cam's so right. Like we have no business leaving Napa until we prove that we are really, really moving the needle for consumers all the way down to like making their experience so delightful that they just couldn't have gone to Napa without us.
So what can people do on the app? Because we haven't really talked about that.
Cam, up to you.
Well, there's so many things, and Shelley, the app changes and is coming out with weekly feature updates. So you guys are very much in the first phase of customers who are experiencing the app and who are getting the full enjoyment out of the experience. And right now, we describe Cuvée as a Napa winery guide and reservations app. So you can explore wineries by the features that are important to you. We think about, you know, when we first developed the app and when we first thought about the marketplace, we were solving for the question that all of our friends who are visiting Napa ask us. And that's
right.
Where should I go when I come to Napa? And selfishly, almost, we're solving that problem at a commercial level. So whether my sister's coming up with her children and she needs to know which places can accommodate kids, or Andrew's coming up with his dog and wants to know where Frank is going to be welcome, we've built in different features so that you can filter for the things that are important to you, whether you want to go somewhere that has food, that you can also bring your dog and is also open late. You can stack those filters and understand what your options are. And then from there, make your reservation with the experience that matches exactly what you're looking for. And so not only are we treating it as a winery guide and a way to like search and explore, but from there, you can make reservation requests. And on the back end, all of that gets confirmed right there in your app. So you have a full itinerary getting built within your app.
And just like Cam had mentioned, a lot of the curation that we've spent time working on is many people don't know that different wineries offer complimentary tastings at different times in the day or different times in the week. We know, we're local. Like, hey, you can go to this winery at this time, and their first tasting of the day is free because the tasting room's empty and the manager likes to offer it on Wednesdays or whatnot. And so we're putting everything from complimentary tastings in the app all the way down to, hey, did you know that this one winery only does one tasting a week and it's on Saturdays at 3 o'clock? So like whatever you want to turn the filters to, you're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to really identify some cool, unique gems all the way up to like the super popular, trendy, hip spots and whatever that looks like.
And of course, no bachelorette parties.
No, Phil, we welcome bachelorette parties. We welcome big groups.
I was like, as a filter, totally, and I'm only piggybacking off listening to you guys on the Psalm TV episode, and I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh, it's such a great shot, and Jason got such a kick out of that. But if you want to go somewhere where you're going to be the only group on property, you can filter by that if that's important to you, to have the privacy and the quiet experience. And on the other side of the coin, if you want to book as a group, we have a filter. If you're a party of 6+, or if you're trying to book a dinner for 120, we can help you with that.
Very cool. We're honoring Andrew's time because he's got a dinner like coming.
You're the first one.
So we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna go to a red wine. So we'll see when we get back. Welcome back to Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil and Andrew and Cam Bam with Cuvée. We'll just keep it simple. You know, I always love having these guys on. Andrew, this is the first time we've had Cameron on, but Andrew, when we had you on episode 115 in July of 2022, nearly 2 years ago, you can tell you are on the road pitching the Cuvée
lifestyle.
I know the word I'm looking for, ecosystem.
Okay.
As looking for people who'd like to invest in things like that. So I always know I'm going to get these little words that I've never heard before in this context, like teething.
Teething.
I love that. Just it's so funny. It's like
division.
Long division, put a pin in it. And teething is the where you are in this particular time and navigating this season of this new product, which I love. Okay, that was hard for me to say. We're moving on to wine number 2, which is a 2020 Robert Craig Howell Mountain Cuvée. Yeah, this is $50 at the winery. Can I have your thank you? And the other one was $32 at the winery. I know Shelley mentioned it, but it's almost like in passing.
Look how dark that is.
Yes. Now, this is Napa Valley fruit also. And I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. When we tasted through a number of Napa wines on the first go around, I got to really not get accustomed to, but start to identify Napa Valley reds, like the Cabernet Sauvignons. And so I'm so excited for this. We have had Robert Craig before, and it has the Napa nose. Hashtag Napa nose.
That's
Sorry.
awesome.
I can't help myself. Now I've got Jimmy Fallon in me.
So
cheers, Dean.
Cheers.
So this cab that you're drinking, and Cam, you back me up if I'm wrong, but I think this 2020 is the last fruit picked before the fires got too bad in 2020. And
so they were going on. They just started. Okay.
And so this fruit was on the vine during some actual smoke, and Robert Craig was able to finish this last run before the fires got too bad. And this wine, for what it's worth, has turned out to be absolutely incredible relative to how bad so many other wineries had it.
Right.
But the fires haven't come back since 2020 in a meaningful way at the tourism level. Of course, there's still there's still fires in the state of California every year. But I mean, from a shutting down tourism hasn't been stopped since 2020 due to fires. But man alive, 2020 was a gnarly year for so many folks. But Robert Craig pulled their harvest in.
So many reasons.
He said they declassified this wine because of the reputation of the fires also. So it's probably a really good value then, right?
Oh, $50? Yeah.
That's a great way of thinking about it.
It seems like it still has tannins that you could cellar it for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. It's 4 years old, but it's still very young.
And it's 65 Cabernet, 33 Merlot, and 2% Malbec.
I can always count on Shelley for knowing this. Thank you.
I want to know.
It's a beautiful wine.
I was just going to say, like, hats off to the Robert Craig team, though, because they're like, hey, in case there's a bottle that's out there that doesn't meet our reputation, like, we're just going to, like, give up all profits on this thing and sell it, you know, at a, like, a deep discount. And they just did that because they didn't want anyone to feel like they got shanghaied on the opportunity to check out their brand for the first time.
Right.
Well, it's safe.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic.
Really yummy.
I really feel like now is be the perfect time to bring up our Wine Time Fridays charity sips. Shelley, we're doing it with a guest, a toast to good deeds, the Napa Farm Workers Foundation. It's always fun to help endorse and promote some nonprofits and some charity organizations outside of the area we are. And so do you guys want to tell us a little bit about why I can guess, but the Napa Farm Workers Foundation and what they mean to you?
Yeah, the Napa Farm Workers Foundation does a ton of really important work here in Napa Valley. And, you know, their mission is really to support and promote Napa Valley's vineyard workers through education, professional development, and they work very closely to create mentorship opportunities, work opportunities, and then also just general farm worker awareness, so that there's, you know, oftentimes if you find a community of people who like needs more resourcing, this is the foundation that helps like protect and create opportunities for a group in Napa that's essential to our economy and livelihood.
For sure, that's really good.
Um,
And do they have a website online?
Yeah, you can find them at the Napa Farmworker Foundation.org. And there's tons of great fundraisers. You can see a lot of our partner wineries listed as strategic sponsors in there. And it's an organization that is really, really important to the Napa community.
So,
and we'll link that in the show notes.
Yeah, they are in the show notes. Napa has their reputation. They're kind of self-sabotaging themselves a little bit for a number of reasons. First of all, just the hoops some of the smaller vineyards have to jump through to get certain permits and like at a driveway or whatever. And then of course a lot of them are pricing themselves out of what you say, Andrew, the common wine drinker, right? This app seems perfect to combat that. Talk a little bit about that and how Napa, the region, is evolving.
I'd be happy to. I think it's a great question. In my opinion, and I'll speak for myself, we're very fortunate to sit with a lot of winery owners, and this idea of it's better for business to maybe see less guests at higher price points. I think the negative ramification that Napa Valley has brought to itself overall is many of the Napa hotels lead the way. And when you think about any trip you've ever planned, it usually goes something like, what do flights look like? Do they work for my schedule? And where am I going to stay? And so you usually kind of lock down a couple of your tent pole, you know, common needs, like your primary needs, like travel and lodging, before you go into where am I going to go? And so even though it's wineries that people travel to Napa for, the thing that's on top of the funnel before that is this idea of staying somewhere, which is like very intuitive. Napa hotels have gotten very greedy and they've massively overpriced the market relative to the value that they provide to Napa. And so trust me, nobody loves a fancier hotel than me. I am a hand raiser. I like to go to fancy hotels when I can afford them. But the reality is Napa's priced out so much of the mid to low market. And because they've done that, it's creating a downward pressure on the amount of people that actually attend or visit Napa in a year. And there's so many other affordable, beautiful, comparable options that somebody who is pragmatic with their money is like, why am I going to Napa? Why don't I go to Sonoma? Why don't I go to Paso Robles? Why don't I go to the California coast to Mendocino? There's so many options that are out there for high caliber stuff. You're seeing Michelin star restaurants pop up in Sonoma. You're seeing the California, exactly. And you know, places like Ojai. And it's just like Napa's now, even though they were head of the game, they're still top dog by many markers. Yeah. But a lot of other markers or other markets have caught up on those markers as well, and they're now comparable. And so if Napa hotels don't get their act together and start bringing price points back in line, I think it's really going to continue to hurt Napa tourism. But it's also to the benefit of the people that can afford them, because the tasting rooms are less busy for sure. And I also think there's some incredible off the beaten track opportunities in Napa that if you can discover them, it's a life-changing experience and you wouldn't go anywhere else. So I am talking out of both sides of my mouth a little bit. There's value in both, but the market dynamics have shifted for sure. Post-COVID, 2022, Napa was insane. Everybody was packed. Every tasting room was packed. In 23, that just wasn't the case.
Interesting.
It's a little.
You were talking about the price of coffee also.
Yeah. Cup of coffee, $12.
Oh, don't even give me my soapbox back. I can't with some of these people. Like it's just flagrantly offensive to the people that.
But tell us what you really think.
But you need that coffee to be able to go out and taste.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Oh, you don't.
Thank you.
Many of us would like to have some.
I am a caffeine degenerate, and I am deeply in a $12 coffee.
That's why I travel with my Stanley French press nowadays. I just
Very
make
smart.
my own.
Yeah, she's got it down to a science. We may need to post that little thing on our website, just the Shelley's science of coffee at a hotel when traveling.
Anyway, tell us about the hot air balloon, because we at one point were looking forward to coming down and taking advantage of that.
Yeah, you guys
which belonged to you at the time.
You bought a hot air balloon company, and then blink our eyes, you don't own it anymore.
I think Cameron deserves more than anybody to tell this story, because Cameron GM'd Napa Valley Balloons. But I'll tee Cam up, and rest assured, we still have hot air balloon tickets for those and our friends and family. So you too can come on a hot air balloon anytime you would like.
There's only one problem.
Well, the problem isn't with the hot air balloon with you guys.
Like
yeah, Shelley doesn't like heights. She's so funny. She's like, but I want to go on it, but I don't. I do, but I don't.
So this is actually a question that came up all the time while we were running the business. And my 2 cents is, if you've ever been able to look out of an airplane window, this is like an airplane window with a better view. It does not feel like a tall building, and it does not feel like you're looking over a balcony, because you have this weightless feeling of floating. It almost feels like a large view airplane window, and you're outside, so you have fresh air, and it feels totally different. And I understand the comment on heights, and maybe some people just never get there, but from a person who's done it a bunch, I recommend it to those that are questioning and interested.
I was in a hot air balloon once, but it was tied to the ground.
We'll cut all that out.
We went like 50 feet up there.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure you do.
And Shelley, even that experience will be really different too. Because like when you're actually like in the air, you're moving at the speed of the wind, so you don't feel like a breeze against you, and you don't feel like pressure.
That's right.
It's a totally trippy experience. And I also am not crazy about heights. I haven't brought myself to get back on a chairlift in years for that reason. But yeah, I've managed to stomach the experience myself, and highly recommend it.
Well, then we'll have to consider.
I think I can do heights, but I'm certainly not going into a tube to get an MRI. I'll tell you that. When we come back, we're going to wrap this thing up with some wines we enjoyed this week. A little
more about the hot air balloon experience.
We want to put a bow on that. See, I can use these little terms too. Not very well. And we also want to clarify something.
Hashtag older people.
I'm going to cut so many things out that Shelley says on this one when we come back. You want to bring us back? You did last week.
I'm not.
You did last week?
No.
Welcome back to episode.
Andrew's not back.
Oh, he'll be back.
Yeah, he hasn't gone far, not to worry.
Yeah. Welcome back to episode 207 on this April 5th, Wine Time Fridays. And once again, Lucy's here in my lap. She's turning out to be an attention whore on the Wine Time. Oh, there she's off. Yeah, we were talking before we went to the break about the hot air balloon experience, and we wanted to kind of wrap that up a little bit.
Yes, what
because you can book that through the app.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to book that is through the Cuvée app.
Yeah, and so I'll tee Cameron up, but the reason we bought and eventually sold a hot air balloon business is because we saw in 22 that we were bringing the right customers to our partner wineries. And in 23, we're like, wow, where are those partners at scale? And we realized that the people going to a hot air balloon business are first-time visitors, high discretionary spend, coming to Napa for tentpole events like birthdays, anniversaries, engagements, etc. And so we recognized if we could parlay buying a hot air balloon business with the business that we were very obsessed with and are still very obsessed with, called Cuvée, we realized that, wow, we could bring that audience into the Cuvée community. And after surveying the Cuvée community before we bought the hot air balloon business, something like 78% of our community of existing customers were like, I would love to go on a hot air balloon. So it was kind of like the community validating that was the right move. And then in the inverse, we saw so many hot air balloon guests wanting the things that were offered in Cuvée. And so I'll turn it over to Cameron. Cameron, after we purchased the business, Cameron was the GM of the business for the 4 months that we owned it. We grew revenue 33% year on year for those months, and we got approached with an acquisition. So Cam, what was it like running a hot air balloon business?
Well, I'll spare you
and actually growing that business 33% year on end as the general manager.
Yeah, well, I can't take credit. We have an awesome team that contributed every step of the way. So it wasn't a one-person show. That's probably the most important part, is that we were all up very early every morning, getting out there and chatting with customers, making sure that they had great experiences. But the thing that I really want to emphasize about running the hot air balloon business is that it gave us another opportunity to connect with customers who were in Napa for experiences. And, we've mentioned this, 5 times now during the course of this conversation with you, that's essential to our success. And it's essential to us learning about what people want when they come to Napa, so that we can adjust our focus and really make sure that we're responding to what people are truly asking for. And so every single day we got 60 to 75 new guests that we got to have conversations with. And that allowed us to really understand, how long are you going to be in town? Where in your trip are you? Are you local? Are you from the Bay Area? Are you from out of town, from overseas? And what else is on your agenda when you come to Napa? Where are you going to dinner? Where are you going tasting? What are the types of wines that you love to drink? And those were such energizing conversations for us to have every single day, that it made the 3:45 wake-up calls for 4 months straight really, really important for us.
Shelley just shuddered when you said that.
Yeah, I mean, the reward of the early call time is a gorgeous view, incredible scenery, and work that we were super proud to do. So, when we look back at that period of our journey, owning the hot air balloon business, not only did we connect with customers, but we also continued to build a tool with Cuvée. So now when, post-sale, after the business was sold, every guest who comes to Napa Valley to fly on a hot air balloon will be using the Cuvée app as their boarding pass. And that was a really essential part of the terms of the sale for us, was that we believed in what we did. We knew we could grow the business, and we found the right partners who had a similar vision to us. So we still are able to connect the customers that come to Napa and are experiencing hot air balloon flights with Cuvée through that boarding pass mechanic. And it allows us to continue having that conversation and helping people complete their itineraries, and helping us connect customers with wineries and experiences that we know they're going to love.
Go ahead.
I would almost just add that running a hot air balloon business is very similar to running a ski resort in the middle of winter. Running a hot air balloon business for a summer, which is what we did, it was truly like we were sold out every day. and you have a number of flights every day, and you have to keep all flights moving on time. You have so many codependencies around time and weather, etc. I think that the ability to deeply understand the customer's needs was such a valuable learning experience that we took away so much personal growth from it. It really allowed us to feel comfort in the transaction, that the people that we were selling to, we thought could do as good, if not a better job than we were, but we could still continue to support their growth from the Cuvée app. So we still sell balloon tickets in our app. And we also have been able to attract other things to the Cuvée ecosystem. So for example, Napa Valley Wine Train does not sell tickets anywhere else on the World Wide Web besides the Cuvée app and their own website. So historically, they sell 99% of their tickets through their own website. And now, through some credibility that we've earned through our relationship with them, they've given us the rights to sell Wine Train tickets in the Cuvée app alongside hot air balloon tickets. So I think it's a small but very important win for the Cuvée team of just earning credibility, walking the walk, talking the talk. And not many people could say that they M&A flipped a hot air balloon business. And so,
well,
right. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful partnerships.
I have two comments for this whole last few minutes. One is, and you touched on it just the last there, Andrew, about relationships. Everything comes back to relationships. Mm-hmm. And what you were saying, Cameron, is you have these face-to-face, which are the best way of curating new relationships, is face-to-face, not on a phone, not on a computer, not in a text message, but face-to-face. Mm-hmm. The app is a great vehicle to get to that point. But the face-to-face, you're developing those relationships, and you guys are very good at listening. Number two, when you're negotiating a transition like this, it's always best to have the other person approach you so you can say, yeah, we could be interested, but we're going to need to, run it through here. So it increases your leverage a little bit, but it sounds like you have a fantastic partnership with them. And due to the credibility that you've accrued over the years, it sounds like this is just going to be bursting for both sides. And we're involved on Facebook, in a Facebook group, the Napa, there's a Napa Valley Facebook group. People are constantly asking, we're going to Napa, don't know where we should go. Seems real easy for me. Sign up for the Cuvée app, and it's going to be very, very simple. We just made your life easier, and we're not going to take a dime for it.
We'll just take the wine.
Oh,
right.
man.
Coming up.
Yes.
Wrap it up.
Well, I know you led. I thought this weekend, I didn't put this on anybody else's show notes, but this weekend is the Walla Walla Spring Release. Actually, this morning, Shelley, we were doing the barrel roll at Frechette. So that's kind of fun. And then I wanted to mention last week, Shelley and I also poured wine, One Hope wine. It was a fundraiser, and all the wines paired with Girl Scout cookies.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the time to go through it, but we had an entire list of what goes with the do-si-dos and the tagalongs
and the mints
and the mints
and the Samoas.
And it was real interesting. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. I wanted to say that. We have the CDA Gourmet Wine Word of the Week, which is enology. I'm just going to simply say the science of wine and winemaking, encompassing both artistry and educational pursuits. Enology. And if I can't clear my throat, we're going to be in trouble. Some wines that we had this week. You going to mention that? You want me to?
I'll try. A Nun HR Race, Cabernet Sauvignon, Simi Chardonnay, J. Bookwalter, 5th edition.
Yum.
Vineyard Collective, Sauvignon Blanc, Rocky Pound Stratastone. It's a red.
Yep.
Shug, Brut Sparkling Rosé.
You guys know anything about Shug?
Sure do.
And Para Napa Valley Cross Vineyard Cabernet.
Chris Vineyard. Chris Vineyard. Yep.
Oh, okay.
You got any opinion about the Para Napa Valley Chris Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon? Have you had that at all?
It doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. It came in our Gary V wine collection. It's got a price point of $150, which that one wine is $60 over the buy-in for the wine club. So that's kind of interesting. Thought you might know that one. Some things coming up. In April, on the 14th, we have Tannat Day. The 17th is Malbec World Day, World Malbec Day, International Malbec Day, whatever you want to look at it. In May, we've got a plethora of things. I only put a few of them down. The 3rd is International Sauvignon Blanc Day. 24th, the anniversary of the Judgment of Paris. We always like to honor that day because it really is the pinnacle of where people were
California got on the map.
Introduced to, wines from the U.S., specifically California. We have Dustin Lewis, regional manager of the Bogle Family Wine Collection. MJ Towler, the black wine guy, that's his brand. And then Ron Sharman, the CEO of Fly with Wine. That is a relationship you guys need to touch in on. Is that one? He is creating some great products for those who visit wine country.
Wine.
Yep.
We would love an intro. We know they're in Napa as well, and so maybe you can introduce our neighbors.
Any introduction costs another case of wine. Just joking. I will make that intro absolutely for sure, and you can count on it because he's a go-getter. We saw him on Shark Tank. It's just amazing how that all worked out. What to expect next week? We're tasting through wines of Garzone with Jeff Pita and a special guest. Yeah. I wanted to just clarify before we let you go that when folks, when they're signing up to the Cuvée app and then I take pictures of those labels, they're not going to, this sip track earn, they're not going to send this through the app. They're actually going to email those photos to the
bottled@cuvée.app,
which of course is in the show notes below. But that's a clarification. There will be, you're going to have to look, you're going to earn some points. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work. So that's all we're saying. Anything you guys want to add that we neglected to ask?
I can't wait to come to Coeur d'Alene. It's nice to see you too. Thank you so much for having us. Anytime you come to our turf, we got hot air balloon tickets for you too. And we would love, love, love to host anybody that comes to Napa in the Cuvée app. You can download it on iOS today. It's in the Apple App Store. Android will come out later this year. But Cuvée, Cuvee. Check us out. Please leave us a review. Thank you so much.
You don't even have to put a little accent over that first E.
No.
You just put it in. I always do because I want to represent. A huge thanks to today's sponsors, Elsom Cellars and the Social Web. And you guys, thank you so much. We love what you're doing. And, you know, I actually wrote an opening for this whole episode. I didn't read it, but I'm going to just say this business is hard, especially the wine business, especially when you're blazing a new market in a niche and industry steeped in tradition. By the way, I wrote that. No AI. No. I wrote that myself. 100% human generated content.
Good job.
It said it takes money and perseverance, and many times, if not most, it takes the ability to see when a pivot is required. You guys saw that, and you have to trust your gut, because when you put so much work into something and all the indicators are saying this may not be the right time for this, and you pivot and listen, good job, you guys. Keep on killing it, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having us, and truly, truly, like we couldn't do it without people like yourselves. So thank you for all the feedback and the community participation. We feel very fortunate to have you as well. So thank you.
Your support is so much appreciated.
You guys are kind. With a little bit of knowledge, wine becomes a lot less overwhelming. And now we've made it even easier in Napa. And she pulls out the original bell.
Thank you for spending part of your day to wind down with Shelley and Phil. Remember, you can listen to any episode of the Wine Time Fridays podcast by visiting winetimefridays.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And join us on our Wine Time Fridays Facebook page, Instagram, or on Twitter, which is @VintageTweets, for daily conversation. Until next week, here's our toast to you. To health, wealth, abundance, gratitude, peace on earth, and of course, romance.